What up guys? Today we're going to check out the Zhiyun Crane 2. So Zhiyun came out with the Crane 2 with some drastic improvements from the previous models. Right off the bat, aesthetically, you can already tell that it looks more of a refined unit here with red accents. Red accent on the joystick, red accent on the handle here. The handle itself is a lot thicker than the previous models. I'll do a more comprehensive video comparing the Crane 1 version 2 to the Crane 2 later on. If you haven't checked out the unboxing video of the Crane 2, you can check it out here. The Crane 2 comes with a whole bunch of new features. One of the main selling points of the Crane 2 is the increase in payload capacity. So now with the Crane 2, it handles up to 3.2 kilograms or 7 pounds. So that basically opens up the Crane 2 to the entire DSLR market. So the main market that Zhiyun seems to be targeting are the Canon 5D users. A lot of the new features that come with the Crane 2 is supported by the Canon 5D Mark II, Mark III, and the Mark IV. And we'll get into that a little bit later. With a 7-pound payload capacity, technically you'll be able to maybe even get into professional grade cameras being able to mount onto the Crane 2, such as the Canon C200 and the Red Epic cameras as well. Red cameras, as far as I know, for the body itself are 5.5 pounds. So obviously it depends on what modules and accessories and add-ons you are mounting onto the camera, but it's good to know that the Crane 2 is a pistol grip 3-axis stabilizer that can handle professional grade cameras, as well as all mirrorless cameras and now all DSLR cameras. One of the improvements that Zhiyun made to the Crane 2 was including a quick release plate. And the quick release plate is Manfrotto compatible, so that's good to know that they really gave some thought into what the industry standards are for a lot of videographers out there using Manfrotto tripods and heads. So they included a Manfrotto compatible quick release plate, so you can seamlessly remove your camera off the Crane 2 and mount it back onto your Manfrotto head or tripod. And then obviously here, moving down to the handle and the module itself, you can see this is where most of the new features lie. So the OLED screen here shows you a whole bunch of different information, such as the battery level. And as we know, the Crane 2 has a battery life of up to 18 hours runtime. We have the joystick here with red accent that controls the gimbal. The mode buttons, the power button, which also acts as a shutter release button. And then we have a new camera control dial here that you would also use to navigate through the menu of the Crane 2, which we'll also get into a little bit later. Also, what's new is the follow focus controller. It has pretty good feedback. It's not too stiff, it's not too loose, so that you can control the focus as you are operating the Crane 2. Over on this side here, we have two ports. One is a micro USB port. The other one is a DC 8-volt port. These ports are specifically meant for charging your camera, obviously depending on what camera you have mounted onto the Crane 2. So the micro USB port here supports charging Sony cameras, and the DC 8-volt port here supports charging Canon cameras. However, the DC 8-volt cable is not supplied, so you would have to purchase that separately. So obviously, with all these new features that come equipped with the Crane 2, we have the follow focus controller, we have the OLED screen that shows you a whole bunch of information and data, such as camera controls as well, and different values from the camera. But it's important to know what is actually supported. So currently right now, as far as I know, Canon 5D Mark II, Mark III, and Mark IV have the most support for all these features. So the follow focus controller is supported with these Canon cameras, and also on the OLED screen to see values such as your exposure value, your ISO, your aperture value, and so on. That's all only currently supported with the Canon 5D series. The other two brands that Zhiyun pushes support for are Sony and Panasonic's. However, they don't have as much support for these newer features as the Canons do. So the follow focus controller is not supported by Sony or Panasonic cameras, so you can't actually use it right now. And on the OLED screen here, you won't be able to see or control your camera values as well. So when you do have a Sony or Panasonic camera mounted onto the stabilizer, as far as I know, you have shutter release control, and you'll have the battery indicator, connection status for Bluetooth, and also what mode the gimbal is currently in. So just like the older models of the Crane, we have the same modes here. We have pan follow mode, we have following mode, and we have locking mode. And then obviously the same thing with the triple tap, will bring it into a selfie mode as well. It's not a real mode for the selfie. All it really does is swing the gimbal 180 degrees so that the camera points at you or the user, and then triple tapping the mode button again will swing it 180 right back to its original position. When navigating through the menu, one thing that I've noticed was that it can be confusing because the center button doesn't actually make the selection. You actually have to press the right side of the dial to make a selection and the left side to go back. And when you plug your camera in with the supplied USB cable, it's important to know that you have to go into the menu and actually select the make of your camera. One other addition that Zhiyun made with the Crane 2 was including a stand. The stand here is made of metal and also pretty sturdy, with grips at the bottom of each leg. The Crane comes with a larger case compared to the previous models. It's not a hard shell plastic case, but it is still a hard case. That's it for today, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Links to purchase the Crane 2 are down in the description. Throw a thumbs up if you thought this video was helpful. If not, throw some comments down in the comments below. Let me know how I can improve. Like I said earlier, I'll be coming out with a video to compare the Crane 1 version 2 with the Crane 2, so stay tuned for that. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.